we shall see how the timetable works out. Now, you get personally hammered a lot in your very public role here, and particularly on MSNBC. So, for example, just to give you a chance to respond, Nicole Wallace, former Bush White House official, said, "Oh my God, Rudy needs to check his carbon monoxide monitors." And Joe Scarborough, one-time Republican congressman, said, and while criticizing some of your comments, his eyes are bulging while he's talking and he looks disoriented. Do you feel disoriented, Mr. Mayor?
Absolutely. I'm completely disoriented. I'm sure it sounds that way. Is there something wrong? I mean, doesn't this give you an indication, Howie, of what you cover, of how completely disoriented the press is and how out of control they are, not only criticizing the president, but everybody around him? I don't know. You can disagree with me. I'm hardly disoriented. I know where I am. I know who I am. And I don't even think it's worth commenting, except for the fact that aren't they way out of control as journalists, accusing you of some kind of mental illness?
Well, that's in the political coverage of Donald Trump as opposed to the coverage of the investigation. Look, a lot of the coverage of President Trump is negative, but Mueller is running an investigation where there have been indictments and guilty pleas.
Sure.
So let me go ahead.
But it's one thing to do that. It's another thing to say that a person's disoriented who's not. It's another thing to say that, I mean, they've said that about the president, right? All the time, Scarborough is saying that. Scarborough's got some deep animus to the president. Well, I mean, all of MSNBC does.
Let me ask you about the broader media indictment, again, for you to have a chance to respond. So initially, the president said he didn't know anything about any Stormy Daniel payment. Later, you disclosed that he had, in fact, reimbursed for the $130,000 payment. After that Trump Tower meeting with the Russian lawyer, the White House had said the president didn't personally dictate the first statement when that story came out. Now your team says he did. Jay Sekulow went on television and said he'd been given the wrong information. What journalists say is that it's like pulling teeth to get these admissions. Your response?
When you consider the 1.4 million documents, the thousands of pieces of information, to have two or three that originally and initially were wrong is hardly anything but our wanting to try to get the facts as straight as possible. I mean, these are not unusual things in an investigation. Usually you get a chance to correct these things until you go on the record. And we haven't been on the record yet. And we're willing to stipulate for the special counsel on what the president would say. We've got it down to, I think now, something we're really comfortable with.
All right, I got a few more questions, but we're coming up on a break, so let me ask you to stand by. More